Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's virtual information night about Moving On Up Day that we will be having at our college tomorrow. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. We are here tonight to talk about what we offer at Mary MacKillop Catholic College and how we can support your child in their education. Towards the end of the evening, I will be giving more information about the specific details with Moving On Up Day tomorrow. So please stay tuned for that information later on this evening. If throughout tonight you have any questions, please use the question and answer chat bar and these questions will be answered throughout the night. If you are on a PC, this will be found on the right-hand side. And if you are working from a mobile device, this will be found at the bottom of your screen. As I said earlier, any questions that are asked tonight, they will be answered by the end of this evening. My name is Kate Carroll, and I am a teacher in Year 5 at Mary MacKillop Catholic College. I'm also a Middle Leader Wellbeing, and I look after the transition from primary school to secondary school, in particular from Year 6 into Year 7. As you are aware, Mary MacKillop Catholic College is a P-12 college. We have the unique privilege to be able to provide transition opportunities for our Year 6 students into Year 7, to allow them to feel safe and comfortable when they begin their senior schooling. Transition from junior to senior school coincides with a very significant changes in students' physical, social, emotional, and cognitive development. And we at Mary MacKillop Catholic College would like to assist our students in their transition from primary school to senior school while supporting them in these areas. Formal transition at Mary MacKillop in Year 6 begins in Term 3. Last term, students in Year 6 experienced subjects including science, art, and home economics. These were taught in the senior school by senior school teachers. They aligned with the curriculum that was being taught within the Year 6 classrooms and was supported by the Year 6 teachers as well. This term, in Term 4, they will continue having subjects in the senior school. These include art, wood tech, and also science. Again, these are taught by senior school teachers in the senior school. Also, as part of our transition program, each Friday in Term 3 and in Term 4, the Year 6 students are invited to eat and play at the senior school. This allows the students an opportunity to be able to experience what lunchtime is like and the different things that happen in a high school compared to in a primary school. Also beginning this term, extra transition opportunities have been provided to those students who require extra support. If your son or daughter is not currently at Mary MacKillop Catholic College and will be joining us in Year 7 in 2021 and would like to experience some of the things that our Year 6 students are currently doing, we really encourage you to contact the college office and I will make contact with you and organise an appropriate time where your child can come and join the current Year 6 cohort and be able to experience some of the things that they are doing in preparation for high school. So tonight, we will have a number of staff speaking to you in regards to things specifically for senior school. The first person that will speak to you is our college principal. As I said earlier, please, if throughout any time tonight you have any questions regarding anything you would like to know more about, please do not hesitate to ask those questions and we will get back to you. So now it's over to you, Chris, our college principal.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Moving On Up presentation. I just want to give the standard apology that this has to come to you online, but I do really appreciate your understanding and as we negotiate these challenges. Of course, tomorrow when the students attend the college, everything will be as normal, but right now the information has to come to you in a virtual way. What I'd like to talk to you about and it really sort of segues very nicely from Kate's presentation, is the college vision. The college vision as it is underpinned by teaching and learning, formation and well-being, but also talk to you a little bit more about transition and how a Peter 12 college offers a point of difference that should really offer a sense of assuredness to you as parents regarding a lack of turbulence in your child's life. I'm also going to talk to you briefly about our Catholic identity and our Catholic distinctiveness as a Josephite school. So first of all, regarding the college vision, you'll notice in the people who speak to you today in the Moving On Up presentations that they all are aligned to either teaching and learning, to well-being, or to formation. And they all will talk to you in some way about our students achieving the best they can or being the best they can be. That's really important elements of our mission as a Josephite school. So in leading the college, I speak to staff and I speak to the community about the importance of outstanding teaching and learning. I firmly believe that if we get what happens in the classroom absolutely spot on, the rest of the mechanics of a school go extremely well. And we've worked very hard in the past 2 years to make sure our teaching and learning is outstanding. We also deal very emphatically in the currency of student well-being. Now, what that means is that we, for example, we have 2 college counsellors who operate a tiered approach for all students. We have 2 assistant principals who are explicitly in charge of the well-being of young people. Now, I firmly believe that some of the challenges faced by young people, particularly adolescents, regarding mental health are some of the most significant challenges that have been faced by teenagers ever. We are seeing significant changes in the way that we educate young people as a result of these challenges, and I want to make sure that as a college we are a really good place to support our young people. So well-being is incredibly important. That third pillar of our vision is formation. And what formation basically means in layman's terms, it's the explicit and intentional activities that we do from prep to year 12 that take that young 5 or 6 year old child and they turn them into the 18-year-old child who walks out of our gates in year 12, who is a type of person we would all like to know, the type of person we'd be proud to have taught, and walks into a career they want, based not only on what they have learnt, but on their character and what we have formed. Now, regarding transition is, in educational terms, the source of turbulence. And what turbulence effectively means is that all students, when they change any educational setting, are expected to go through some dips. So if you track academic data nationally and even internationally, there's certain points at which young people's well-being and attainment will dip, and those are the points of transition. So the point of difference of a Peter 12 school is that we ease that point of transition and we have less turbulence. And Kate's already referenced some of the important things about that. So the students who are going from year 6 to year 7 will have a firm idea of the operations and the structures of our college. They will already know some teachers who will be teaching them in year 7. They'll know a lot of familiar faces. Even those students who are coming from outside the college, we try and make sure that we offer different points of transition and different touchstones throughout the transition process to ease that turbulence. So the Peter 12 difference is really aimed at securing an outstanding transition. Within our own Catholic community, though, it's underpinned by a number of really important principles. As a Catholic educational community, we make a number of promises to you as parents. Some of those are about liturgy. And so, you know, how we celebrate Easter, how we celebrate Christmas, and those things are important, and I never want to distance myself from those. But really important also is the promise we make to you about how we view your child. As a Catholic school, particularly a Josephite school, a school founded with the spirit of Mary MacKillop, we make promises to you about assuring your child dignity and assuring them fullness of life. And what that means is we make a promise to you that our teaching and learning is outstanding. We make a promise to you that we will liaise with you consistently, authentically, and meaningfully about your child's progress as they progress through the school. We make a promise to you that as the first educator of your child, everything the college does and you do has to be in synergy. Those things are really important. But also important in our Catholic charism is that we have to make sure that we keep improving as a school. So yes, Catholic schools deal in senses in liturgy, and they talk about ethos, and they talk about if you like, broad Christian values, and those are incredibly important, and you'll find those every day in our college. But underpinning that is a real, authentic, meaningful dedication to excellence. And that's the first way that we define ourselves as a Josephite school. But regarding the more operational elements of our celebration, we do make sure that our young people are able to access the sacraments regularly, that when we celebrate liturgically, and we do this in a way that all students of every faith denomination are made to feel welcome and are made to feel that this is an authentic expression of who they can be in our college. We also make sure in our college that children learn authentic expressions of faith, not just knowing what prayer is, but knowing what service is. And many of you who are already in the school community, we know that we have a strong form when it comes to charitable giving and to service of the community. So that's a bit of an oversight of how we have aimed to lead the college in the past 2 years, and to give you a bit of a flavour of what will be happening during the Moving On Up process and as your child enters Year 7. Again, I'd like to thank you very much for your attention tonight and for joining us, and I'd like to welcome you, those of you who are from outside our community, and welcome you back, if that's the right way of saying it, to those who are currently in Year 6. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I'll hand you back to Kate.
Thank you very much, Chris. Once again, just a reminder, if you have any questions tonight, please feel free to ask those questions and they will be answered tonight before the end of the evening. The next presenters that we have tonight are our two college counsellors, Dr. Jasmine Slack-Smith and Cara Saunders. I would now like to pass on to those ladies to discuss in more detail about how they can support your child in their preparation for school.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you for taking the time this evening to join us, and welcome to our parents and to our students as well. My name's Cara Saunders and I am one of the guidance counsellors here.
And I'm Jasmine.
So we are both clinical psychologists, and we're really fortunate to work at a college that really values wellbeing and allows us to work actually across the continuum of wellbeing needs. So that means that we work really proactively in the college in terms of identifying any students that may have some areas of support that they require, and also being able to support students when they're really having a hard time.
So Mr. Gabbett spoke around our tiered approach. So essentially we are in a really luxurious position to be able to work with all students, irrespective of their position along the mental health and wellbeing continuum. So at one end, we're able to work in the classrooms, to collaborate with teachers, and to support all students to learn and to proactively reach as many of the students in the college as we can. We are then able to,
and I guess the other really important thing that we're able to do is to connect with the students from prep all the way through to grade 12, which is a really exciting thing that we're finding is we're enabling students to see that mental health and wellbeing is so important to their development and also to their learning as well. Wellbeing is so critical to be able to support a really, I guess, enabling them to learn.
And again, as Mr. Gabbett spoke to, wellbeing is prioritised because it's evidenced in the research, and we all know, and as parents and caregivers, you know this too, that their wellbeing is key to their academic success, and we value and promote that here at Mary MacKillop Catholic College. So Cara and I want to speak briefly around the idea of resilience and give you some pointers or some tips that we will extend on further with the students who are joining us tomorrow. So many parents have highlighted their desire for a resilient adolescent, and more often than not, this is what we're asked about. So people are wanting and seeking support for strategies to support their child or themselves to be more resilient.
And that means bouncing back from difficult times and
coping, having the skills to cope in a really adaptive way.
But it's really important to note that you need to experience adversity and challenge to develop and to demonstrate resilience. So resilience isn't the absence of difficulty or distress, but instead it's the way in which we respond to this when it happens. So we need to acknowledge that this will happen, and in fact this needs to happen if we're wanting to develop effective social and emotional management skills.
So rather than trying to protect or prevent challenging experiences, whether you're a young person knowing that you're going to be facing these difficulties, we don't want to avoid them. And as parents, it's natural to want to protect our children and offer them the opportunities where they're really succeeding. But we also need to allow our young people to have these experiences themselves, and in the meantime, educating them and empowering them to manage these adaptively.
So we've made each student who's transitioning into high school and who's attending Moving On Up Day tomorrow a resource with some coping strategies on it. And we'll be giving these out tomorrow during Moving On Up Day. So we just thought we'd speak really briefly around some of the strategies that are mentioned on here. So we typically have a few kind of standard evidence-based strategies that we ensure all students are educated around. So in the junior school, we do that in the classroom, and in the senior classes, we deliver that within the Get Skilled program, which Mr. Albion will speak to shortly. But everybody will see a copy of this tomorrow, which outlines 50 coping tools.
And I guess the first ones that really stand out, which is important for all of us, is to eat a healthy diet, get exercise, and ensure that we're having really solid, helpful, I guess, habits around our sleeping patterns.
Because despite how excited you may be about starting high school or transitioning to a new school, any transition is still a stressor. So we need to ensure that we're nurturing our body as best as we can to prepare us for that shift.
We also have some strategies that, for those students who do know us, we've been into your classroom, and you may recall us teaching you some really simple strategies for taking some deep breaths, and also some we called it the rocks and socks strategy, which is basically a progressive muscle relaxation that helps you to manage that tension and that stressful experience.
So we talk a lot about strategies. I guess that I would reference them as self-management strategies, so learning how to be more self-aware and to manage your experience. But it's also important to learn how to effectively seek help from other people, and to know how to articulate that you need that help, and to know who to go to, who is an appropriate support person. And that's something else that we really advocate for at the college as well.
And we're certainly someone that you can reach out to if you do have questions or you do need support. And I guess the final tip that we have surrounds reminding yourself that you can do hard things.
So you can be nervous and you can be scared, but you can be brave at the same time. So that speaks a lot to the concept of a growth mindset, which this little resource speaks to as well. So for those of you attending tomorrow, you will get a nice little laminated copy of that, and we can provide that to anybody else who's unable to attend.
So we look forward to meeting you all there.
And we'll now hand over to Mr. Chris Niker.
Good evening, parents, and thank you again for joining us on this transition evening. I hope the information you have received so far has been helpful. And in my quick little session here, I just want to give you a snapshot of curriculum in the senior school. When students come to year 7 and 8, obviously we do the core subjects such as religion, English, maths, science, and history, geography, and HPE. But we also give our students a little taster of everything. And we believe this is really crucial in students actually finding the variety of subjects are on offer. So these may include music, drama, it may include food technology, wood and metal work, digital technology. All of these are a whole wide range of subjects that actually develop the skills that they will need moving forward. So I know whenever I talk about electives, some students go, oh, I don't want to do a particular elective. And I recall this year at the start, some students had to do drama, and they were like, oh, what's drama? But a week later, I was chatting to the same boys, and they were saying how meaningful it was and how much fun it was, and they were actually enjoying drama more than they thought. And this is a really great time for students to engage with a number of these activities. Looking further into those electives and the subjects that they're doing, we are looking at developing their thinking skills. We are looking at developing their creative thinking, problem solving, developing collaborative skills. All of these things are so important for the students. Of a particular initiative that we have introduced this year is a digital literacy course. Now, as you may be aware, students entering in Year 7 will be given a personal device, a laptop to work through and use it for their improving their teaching and learning. But one of the skills we found, the subject why we introduced it, is to get students to familiarize with the device that they are receiving, to use, spend some time learning about the platforms we use, the online platforms, and how to be safe online and how to use those things effectively, email etiquettes, how to be safe online, and also how can this technology actually improve their teaching and learning and their organizational learning habits. So Year 7 and 8 is a great way to start. And what we try and give a little taster of everything. And hopefully by spending a term doing some of these electives, students will be have some idea of where they would like to go. Again, the teachers that teach in this time are very good at what they do. Not only they have a great knowledge of the curriculum and the standards and the expectations, but they also realize the transition period from coming in from Year 6 and now all of a sudden experiencing a number of teachers, and especially those first 4 weeks can be a little bit challenging for some students, but teachers are aware, and so they tend to walk the students through that journey and assist. They show a little bit greater patience during this time, knowing that students are adjusting to perhaps different learning styles of teachers that are presenting the materials. So all of these things, the teachers are aware. And so the Year 7 and 8, it's a great time for great learning, for students to discover what else they're good at, and certain things that they may not thought that they were interested in, perhaps that curiosity gets them and helps them across their learning journey. In Year 9 and 10, we worked extensively this year to introduce a whole suite of subjects that are linked, that provides a viable pathway into Year 11 and 12, but also interest into careers. So if you do go to our website and have a look at our subject handbooks, you will find great information on each of those subjects. Some of the subjects that we will be implementing next year, for those that will be in Years 9 and 10, are things such as sports science, introduction to law, journalism. We also have ancient history. We also have metal and wood practice in there, all the digital, such as game design, and a number of fantastic subjects such as journalism as well. And these were some of the things that both our staff were really passionate about, and some of our students actually indicated that these were the subjects. So our range of subjects that are on offer, a wide range. And again, it comes from that as we expose more kids to a whole variety of learning, whether it be in sports, creative arts, or some related to science and maths, some of these electives, that hopefully they'll just get that passion for learning, that they will see the beauty in learning. And yes, it may be hard work and it may be challenging, but it's worth pursuing through. And that's what our electives were designed to do in Year 9 and 10. In Year 10 also, there's a little bit more focus on careers. In fact, we spend a few sessions during pastoral or get skill lessons that we talk about careers, but we actually take Year 10s away for 2 days. And sorry if you hear my dog barking there, that's apologies. But we take our students to careers to a retreat for 2 days. And here in Year 10, we give them a really great snapshot of what potential careers are out there, how their personality and interests can link into careers, and really spend time looking at year 11 and 12 and the options available for them. We also start exploring the ideas of traineeships and Head Start and all of these number of opportunities that are there for them. And obviously, just part of our requirements, we also have a set plan in year 10 where we sit down with you, the parents, and your child, and we discuss possible learning pathways. And finally, in year 11 and 12, obviously we started this year with our first lot of year 12s. And can I say the academic results that our year 12 students are producing have been very impressive. And I think this is a reflection, obviously, of their work ethic, but also want to give you the confidence as you decide to partner with us and enroll your child into this school, that you can have confidence that we can produce amazing results at the end of year 12 and open up a whole lot of pathways for them. And so in year 11 and 12, we offer both the academic pathway, or those kids that are also wanting to not go through an academic pathway, but wanting to go into trades or do certificate courses. Within our curriculum, we offer Cert 3 Business, Cert 3 Sport and Rec, and even we're also looking at Cert 2 Engineering Pathways and Cert 1 Construction. So these are just a range where, as our principal said, we want every child to succeed, and the way we have designed our curriculum structure actually supports those. When we say that we want every single child to succeed, our curriculum pathways support that with a variety of options for different goals of each of our students. All of these information and more about all the subjects that we are offering is all on our website, so I do encourage you to go. You'll also see here blurbs from teachers actually talking about their subject, so it's not just a read document, it's an interactive one where you can actually hear the passion of the teachers. And I do like to finish also on the teachers. I have the privilege of leading some of the most incredible staff that I've had the privilege of working with, and as having my own daughter, and I also have another daughter starting in year 7 next year, I'm excited about the teachers that will teach them and educate them and challenge them and push them to be the best version of themselves they can be. And by the end of year 12, that they will have their pathways and options available. So again, please look at the website, and if you have any questions regarding curriculum, please contact the college and I will get back to you as soon as possible. It also now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our sports coordinator, Mr. Brad Griffiths, who will tell you all about sporting opportunities and extracurricular opportunities offered here at the college. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's my privilege to be able to speak to you this evening about sport and co-curricular opportunities at the college. Merrimack's a great place. You've made a great choice if you're coming in from outside, and if you haven't signed on the dotted line, hopefully this presentation this evening will encourage you to do so. Personally, I send my 2 children to the school. They love the place, and forge brilliant friendships and really take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them. Sport at the college is something that is just growing and growing by the year. There are a huge variety of opportunities for students in both upper primary all the way through to high school. I'm going to highlight a few of those tonight for you. I've only got about 5 minutes. I could talk about sport all day. I usually do, but I'll try and keep it a little bit brief for you this evening. I want to acknowledge firstly, though, that there are huge, well-documented links between physical activity, well-being, and academic performance. So for that reason, we strongly encourage all students to become part of the Mary MacKillop Sporting Program. It does not matter if they are a world-class athlete or they are at the other end of the spectrum, somewhere close to myself. Being part of that team environment, getting out, fresh air, exercise, all of those things can only enhance their experience at the school. And as I said, it is well documented, the link between academic performance and physical activity. Sorts of things we can do at the school include our sort of standard carnivals. We run a cross-country swimming and athletics carnival. Those sorts of things can then lead on to selection in Inner Downs teams, and then go on to Darling Downs, represent the region, go to Queensland School Sport Championships, that sort of thing. We also offer a huge variety of team sports, so things like rugby, touch, soccer, netball, volleyball, futsal, hockey, rugby league, you name it, we pretty much offer it. One of the things I really like about the college is that we can generally tailor the experience of the student to their interests. So for a recent example of that is some girls showed some interest in wanting to play volleyball. They came to us and said, look, we'd love to do this activity, and staff members were only too happy to accommodate that. Those girls have been training now for the best part of this year. Unfortunately, COVID made participating a little bit difficult, but they're actually due to play their first game in a couple of weeks' time. So when students have an interest in a particular sport, we'll listen to those interests, and where reasonable and where possible, we'll help them to sort of achieve their desires and get involved in that particular sport. We also offer training in individual sports, so things such as athletics and cross country are offered at the college on a weekly basis. So students can improve in a variety of athletic events and cross country. And we also offer fitness sessions for students in the secondary school, something that is, functional fitness, building strength, that will assist in their variety of sports that they undertake. In Year 5 and 6, we again participate in a variety of sports, and the other great thing about Year 5 and 6 is that we participate in our Friday sports. So in Term 3, all students in Year 5 and 6 participate in Friday sport each Friday. Fantastic experience across a variety of different sports. And one really exciting announcement, and this is hot off the presses and news for those of you only, our current students don't even know this. We are actually introducing Friday sport in Term 1 2021 for our high school students. So this is something that we have sort of thought long and hard about and discussed. We feel that adding that sporting element to the secondary school for all students will hopefully lift student engagement levels and really get people involved in the college. There'll be a huge variety of things we put on offer. We're looking at things like lawn bowls, like going to the gym, like swimming, team sports. There'll be some sort of cultural pursuits and that sort of thing as well. It won't just be sport, but the main focus will be on sport, getting together as community and doing some worthwhile physical activity. I'm really excited about that. I think it's a real point of difference for the college. There are some schools that do that sort of afternoon sport, but a lot of that is dying across schools in the Downs and in the sort of greater community. So for us to be introducing that, I think that's a really sort of large feather in the cap for Mary Mac, not just for sport, but for the school in general, for the college in general. I just wanted to touch very briefly on one last thing, which was an experience we gave our students in the first week back this term. We took about 43 students down to Brisbane to participate in the All Schools touch football competition. Huge competition. Generally, when it's not a COVID year, there are teams from New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, New Zealand, even as far as some Asian countries come and play in that. We went down, we participated, had a really, really great time. These sorts of things are what we're looking to develop at the college. So it won't just be touch where we're looking at going on trips, but we're really quite strong in soccer and futsal and a number of other different sports. So those sorts of sports tours and all of that sort of thing are really, they're a passion of mine. I've organised quite a few of them at former schools. And I'd really like to present those opportunities for our students going forward as we grow as a college. If you've got any questions about sport at all, please do contact me. You can put a question up on the Q&A, but if you're not comfortable doing that, please feel free to send me an email. I'm more than happy to get back to you or call the college and ask for me. We can have a chat. I would now like to pass on to Mrs. Jess Burke, and she's going to have a chat to you about arts at the school. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Mr. Griffiths. I've just got to do something with my sound. That's better. I am Mrs. Jessica Burke, and I'll be the middle leader for the Arts and Student Engagement for 2021. Arts subjects and involvement are a crucial part for a child's development, especially in the expression and emotional development, and it's something that I myself is very passionate about. Studies show that art, music, dance, and drama enhance the processes of learning. The systems it nourishes include the sensory, attention, cognitive, emotional, and motor capacities. And these are shown through studies to be the driving forces behind all other learning. Arts dimensions are seen every day in everyday life. We turn the radio on when we go in the car, we're at the shops, you can hear the music, we turn on Netflix. So we're exposed to all different types of arts dimensions all the time. So why not teach it? Why not nurture these skills? So we at Mary MacKillop College endeavour to teach these and offer these skills and confidence to produce these interests. We will do this in a multitude of different ways, but especially through classroom education, through the different ensembles that students can be involved in. So the music, the dance, the drama clubs, different art showcases, competitions and performances. Mary MacKillop has a really strong and growing instrumental music program. And we promote the process-based education. So we really push for those educational levels, the aim of being in tertiary entrance levels, but in a fun way. It provides the opportunity for students to develop learning skills, self-esteem, a lot of different friends and family, and supportive and caring teachers, and a lifelong involvement in music. We have currently got 6 peripatetic tutors who teach all instrumental types, and private lessons are available. We also have a string ensemble, a guitar ensemble, a choir. Actually, 2 different choirs are about to be offered to different students, so one in the primary and one in the secondary. And this term, we're establishing our first ever marching band and trick flags as our latest addition to the department for our secret and big finale for the end of this year. So in 2021, we are looking at a number of exciting different ventures and arts events. At this stage, we're looking at the Queensland Catholic Schools Music Festival, participation in community events such as Carnival of Flowers, the Localist Edfords, and maybe a possible small little tour. Opportunities will be given to students for self-expression and self-discovery in the arts. This will foster a respect and appreciation for all different cultural developments and an awareness for the aesthetic values. So I invite all students of all different abilities to come and have a go. My mother once said to me, you never know unless you give it a go. So I want to see everyone have a go. We will help anyone get to any different level, and we will be inclusive to any different child. So I look forward to meeting and working with students tomorrow, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions if you have anything more about the department or what we could possibly do to help your student excel in the areas that they love. Yeah, so I hope you all have a good evening, and I look forward to seeing your children. I do also have a child coming into the secondary college next year also, so I wouldn't send my child there if I wasn't happy. So I hope to see you there as also. I will now pass over to Mr. Sean Albion, who will talk to you about welfare matters.
Thank you, Jess. If you've made it this far in the presentation, well done. But we have saved the best to last, obviously, with wellbeing. Chris Nyker might object to that, but my aim tonight is to basically talk through the wellbeing agenda at the college, discuss the key elements that we have, and then also talk through some of the key areas that are happening within the senior school. So the wellbeing team that we have at the college consists of 2 assistant principals, so myself, Sean Albion, and Bridget Riley, who's the assistant principal in the junior school. We also have the 2 fantastic counsellors that you've heard from tonight, Jasmine and Cara. They're instrumental in the work that we do with our wellbeing team. And then also Kate Carroll and Steve Corin, who are the middle leaders for wellbeing. Kate Carroll, obviously, a major part of her role is a transition, and that's her leading tonight. The other things that I'll talk to you about tonight is our wellbeing framework. You can access this on our college website, so I do encourage you to have a look at that. What it does is talk you through what our key non-negotiables are. So we've got some guiding principles for our wellbeing with the students at the college. And it also talks through our tiered approach of how we support students within the community. So the tiered approach basically looks at 75% of students will access everything all the time. Then we have some tier 2 students who we need to do some group programs, or we need to add in some additional support for those students. And then we have some tier 1 students who could be seeking out counsellor support or individual programs for them at the college. So we work on that tiered approach. And you've heard already from Jasmine and Cara and also Chris Nyker, who have spoken about the Get Skilled program. That's one of those elements of the tiered approach. So within the tier 1, all students access something called Get Skilled. It's created by myself and Jasmine and Cara, the clinical psychologists at the college. And it aims at the students' needs within those cohorts. It's very much driven by building character strengths, mental health awareness, and also target specific challenges for those students in those year levels. So for example, in year 7 and 8, it's very much driven around relationships and an ability to build relationships and rebuild relationships after something goes wrong. Chris also spoke about the year 10s, and there's a real focus on pathways and careers and actually choosing what they're going to do and what is their purpose in life. And then also year 11, it has a real clear focus around leadership, how they can contribute and serve the community. And across all of the age groups, that varies depending on what the needs are within that cohort. So a way that we actually determine that is something called BU tracking. Kate Carroll, who's leading tonight, she's very much very instrumental in this area. And what we do is every semester, we actually get our PC teachers and our classroom teachers to look at the students' engagement, emotions, behaviour, and we track the students every semester so we can get some data to say, this is an area that we might need to look at within this cohort, or it could be this gender of students in this grade, or it might be something that's progressed over a period of time. And that evidence and that data helps us determine what we actually need to put into that Get Skilled program. So that's one element within our tiered structure. Also within that tiered structure, we have a PC structure, so a pastoral care class that the students from years 7 to 12 are allocated to when they enter into the senior school. Also, Kate spoke about the transition. Students will be starting to come into that PC as we move into the next few weeks of the finish of this year. But the PC structure, basically a student will walk in, they might be in Penola House, they'll have that PC teacher for their entire time that they're at the college. So they can build a relationship. It's like their second home. When they come into the community, they'll build relationships with those students, and it's students from year 7 to 12. So it's a vertical system that students will get to build relationships with other people outside of their own year level. The other part of that is within that structure, we've got our house element. So there's house leaders, and it's about creating belonging for those students to know that when they come to school, they've got these other people behind them supporting them, and if something goes wrong or they need some help, their PC teacher, their other students from the house, and also the other students in that PC are there ready to support them. So that's a key part of it. Another area that we have within our wellbeing is our merit system. So our merit system focuses on positive learning behaviours. It starts right back in prep and works all the way through to year 12. As we progress into the senior school, the students are given a number of positive learning behaviours and expectations. And if those students show those behaviours in class, the teachers reward them with something called a Mary Mac point. And if they get a certain amount of those Mary Mac points throughout the semester, they're then rewarded with bronze, silver and gold Mary Mac badges at an awards ceremony. And that'll be in week 4 at our assembly this semester for our second semester for our Mary Mac badges. It's something new that we've started up this year. The students have only just had their first lot of it last semester, and we're starting to see students really striving to show those positive learning behaviours and engage in that learning environment because they know that they can contribute not only to their own learning, but the other students within that classroom's learning as well. The last thing that I'll discuss is obviously if something goes wrong within the community, we do have a wellbeing framework where there is behaviour support and other processes involved. It does happen, and we know that people make mistakes, and our whole process is all around reflecting on that behaviour. Students make mistakes. What have we learnt from it, and how can we actually move forward so we can become the best version of ourselves? So that's our whole aim, and as we progress through the years from year 7 through to year 12, our main focus is, can you be a contributing member to society? And if you can, we've obviously done our job as a college. So within the wellbeing frame, same thing as everyone else has said. If you've got any questions or you'd like to come in and talk to us, please do. We're always available for you to do that. I think my role is to now pass back to Kate Carroll, who's going to wrap us up for the evening. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you everyone for your time tonight. We really appreciate the effort that you've taken tonight to be with us and to learn more about our college and what we can provide to support your child. Like I said at the beginning of the evening, I'll just quickly run through some of the things that are going to be happening tomorrow. So if your child is attending the Moving On Up Day, the registration tent will be set up outside of the Ignatius Centre, which is on the senior side of the college campus. Due to COVID restrictions, it's really important that families do not go any further than the registration tent. Parents can come register their child at the registration tent, and then if they are in primary school, they will be taken over to the primary school by one of our Year 6 leaders. And if they are in the senior school, if they're coming into transition into the senior school, they will be taken to Ignatius, and that's where they will start their day there. So again, just a reminder that if you are dropping your child off, that you can't go any further than the registration tent. In the afternoon, picking your child up at the conclusion of the day, students will be waiting again at the registration tent. So please discuss with your son or daughter how they're getting home in the afternoon, whether you're going to meet them at the car park, come to the registration tent, they're catching a bus, whatever happens in your family, but that's where the students will be brought back to tomorrow. Again, if your child is coming tomorrow, please ensure that they bring their hat, that they bring lunch, bring a water bottle, and also, if possible, something to write with as well. That would be great. So I think that's pretty much all the information that we need for tomorrow. Again, like everyone has said tonight, please, if you have any questions, either ask them tonight or you might think about them later on. Please contact the college office, and the person who needs to get back to you will get back to you as soon as possible. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight and learning more about Mary MacKillop, and we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you very much.